Hey everybody, I am Maggie Mulhern. I am semi-retired, or as I call it, half-assed working, and I get the honor of interviewing Tev Finger, the CEO of Luxury Brand Partners and just the founder of everything cool in the industry. Is that how we're...
Yeah, that's, I'm gonna put that on my business card.
The cool guy. So we are here at the end of year 2 of Excursion, which is this very exciting educational event for salon owners and salon managers, how to make your salon better, more exciting, more functioning, more successful. And Tev, the best part of Excursion is always your presentation. So just give us a little snippet of what Excursion is, and then tell us about your presentation.
So that's awesome. I can't wait to talk about it because it's something I really care about. I think that going through COVID was really a hard time for salons, as we know, and a lot of friends had hardship, and the whole industry as a whole went through a dark period. And we wrote this content to really kind of bring us out of that and inspire everybody and give take-home, almost like to-dos, where people could actually reinvigorate their business and kind of fill the cup up. And I didn't feel like there was a lot of stuff out there in the industry that fit that exact bucket. And so we went on this journey, or quest, which we like quests, and the idea was to write content that I was a huge active participant in, as was the rest of the team. And we wrote really exciting stuff. We call them modules or segments. And the idea was to give salons take-home pieces to reinvigorate their business. And the thing is, we also teach it as well. So I don't think you should write content unless you're also going to be an active part of it. So having you and Allison, Maggie, teach at these events has also been really exciting, because it can't just be about one thing. So your piece that you do with Allison on the generations and how that plays into everything, I learned from every single time. We were laughing just before we went up that I've probably seen it 11 times, but every time I learned something about the fabric of all the generations and how they intercede with each other and how they communicate and all of that. That's one element of Excursion being, then we talk about the different psychological aspects of the business. We talk about the metrics that you should be following in the business. We talk about the actual profits and losses and how that all works. And I think the most important piece for me is connecting with salon owners and hearing a lot of, the first couple days is always interesting. You hear a lot of pain, and they tell you the problems, which I think is it's like a nice place to be, where people can tell you not always just the good. But what happens is this incredible journey in 4 days, where we go from hearing some of the bad stuff, learning, they kind of like a cake. It's something like a magical dessert that just gets baked. And I would say 99.9% of the people that leave on the final day, they all say the same thing, which is my inspiration cup is full. And for me, there's nothing better in the world. I think for everyone that works at R+Co, seeing your customers, all these salon owners and managers and stylists, leave invigorated and feeling great. There's just no better feeling in the world. It supersedes anything. So I get a lot of drive to do this, and we just finished our 2 years of doing these now. 11 of them we've done. We got a whole roster for next year and the year after that. And we're even now starting to think about like the second iteration, like level 2 and level 3 and all of that. So.
Well, it's really exciting, I know, for me, and again, I've watched this every single time. I come away with something new and fabulous. And just the other day, I want you to talk about the Michael Jordan, that when you say these people come in feeling stressed and that they're having a tough time, and the one thing, you take failure and turn it into something positive. I want you, because this one I do all the time. A friend of mine has a coach for tennis, and every time he loses, I'm like, hey, I learned from Tev the following.
Oh, cool. I'm definitely no sports athlete, but love watching sports. But obviously Michael Jordan, I grew up, and to me, he was always the GOAT, the best player of all time. And we show a clip at the end where, when you think of seeing a clip of Michael Jordan, you think you're going to see a clip of someone telling you how incredible they are and how they're amazing. And all he talks about in that clip is how he's failed over and over and over again and missed. He talks about all the shots he's missed. He talks about all the shots he's missed when the game really mattered and how he lost the game, and how that's kind of part of the journey. And if you've got the best person in the world, the most successful in one area, in that area being NBA basketball. If you've got that person talking about how he missed everything and was a failure, it makes you feel a lot better. And I think part of that journey for the salon owners is to come to a safe place where they know we've been around for a long time. It's been 30 years of trying to give active education to salon owners. So you do see a lot of the same faces, as we know, and you build rapport and relationships, and you just want them to win. So we show a few clips, and that Michael Jordan's one of them, but to me it's also one of my favorite clips too. Except it's funny, your husband came up to me and was like, maybe there's another player you don't know. So we just had a conversation about Bill Russell. And he's right, Bill Russell's amazing too. He was he was a big coach and a huge player. But everybody sees everyone sees the clips that we do or whatever we teach in a different light, which is interesting. And they all pull something from it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. So hundreds of hairdressers have taken Excursion now over the 2 years. What is your feedback? What are they getting the most out of Excursion? What is resonating with them?
That's a great question. I think that number one is filling up the inspiration or the passion cup. Because, like I said, this is a grinding business. And there's an interesting thing with time. What we found was that the longer you're doing this as a career, the potential for the passion and the inspiration to slowly dwindle. And so getting like a shot in the arm and getting reinvigorated is really, really important. And I think that's kind of number one. But right behind that, number two, is we also give, and I'm a big fan of like actionable, real things that you can do and take home in your salon. And to me, we give a lot of those, and some of them are quite complicated. Like when salons go back, I'm always like, wow, I hope they can do this. And then we also offer follow-up resources with LB, where someone's there to actually walk them through and talk to them, and it's all free. It's all like this. We give it to salons. We want them to succeed. The salons, we were laughing today. Vidal Sassoon used to say, if you don't look good, we don't look good. Yeah. Or if we don't look good, you don't look good. And our whole thing is, if you don't succeed, we're going to fail. We have to get you to be your absolute most prime you can be, and by doing that, we'll have a better business as well.
Well, what's really cool is I know this is a very expensive endeavor for you, and a lot of brands are not doing this, and that you are offering this to salons that embrace luxury brand partners. Yeah. What is the future for this?
I think the future is to keep doing it more and having salons come back for the second and the third and the fourth time, because we're writing a lot of content for level 2 and level 3 and level 4. And you have to go through, it's kind of like karate. You got to go through the white belt and the yellow belt and the orange belt. And eventually, maybe there'll be a black belt. But right now, just enjoy. I mean, we've only done the first class, and we've probably had maybe around 600 or 700 people come through it, salon people. But, my goal is to cycle through hopefully 100% of the R+Co network to come through this, and then have them come right back within a year to level 2 and just keep doing that. And I think there's something really amazing about if you do this and we kind of keep going and everybody participates, and I think we'll get 100% participation. I've never said that, but like level 1, it's hard to get people to come to that because they don't know what it is. I actually think we'll have 100% participation for level 2. And the main thing that makes me think that is one of the things we do in level 1, which I laughed because everybody didn't want to do this. They were all like, Tev, there's no way, it's never going to work. And I think sometimes you have to break the rules a little bit. We do this thing where we meet at like midnight and do another session in the middle of the night. And everyone's like, what? The people that come to that, which is not everybody, but 80% come to that. Those people that can come to that and see the commitment from the R+Co team, they're all coming to the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, because they really see in a heartfelt way the commitment level that the R+Co team has, and that we also lead by example. We actually show them, like, we're going to show up at midnight, whether you come or not, we'll be in the room. And 80% show up to that. So it's kind of a touching thing as well. And then obviously the best part of all of this is hearing the success stories afterwards. So hearing about what happens in the salons. We're actually going to talk a lot about those success stories in R+Co Love, which is like our, like a newspaper or a tabloid or whatever you want to call it. We're going to have that come out, 2, 3, 4 times a year. And that's where we can share and make the salon people that have attended excursions but are very close to us the celebrity and share their stories. Because really what we're teaching is only stuff we've learned from salons. There's never one thing I made up. It was always something from someone in a salon that did something that worked. So we just harness all of that information, put it together, and that's how you end up with and if you have a lot of conviction behind it, that's how you end up with something really special. Obviously, as you know, Maggie, getting my start at Bumble and Bumble and working in the salon definitely helped.
Well, that's what I want to know. Can you give us a little overview of your story, of your professional story in the salon industry?
Yeah, I mean, I started at a very young age, 18 years old, working at Bumble and Bumble at the salon, and it wasn't something I chose to do, but it just kind of things fell that way. In fact, I probably fought it a little bit when I think back, but it was the best thing that ever happened. Sometimes in life, the best things happen and you don't know they're the best things. And after 1 year being in a salon environment, which I never intended on, there was no leaving it. I love the people, I love the culture. Obviously, I started at a young age. I was thrown in with the assistants, so it was a different, it wasn't like I got to be at the high end of the business. I was at the very bottom, and it was a very different time because in the early 90s, the salon world was a different world. That turns out to have been a really lucky piece of this journey, because having experienced what salons were 30 years ago, and then seeing salons today and having lived through that whole cycle, it's actually given us and R+Co or any of the brands that we're part of a very unique perspective to help salons with experience. There's a lot of people in the industry that sometimes will opine and talk about, here's what you should do. And I see some quite aggressive things too, where I'll hear stuff and I'll be like, whoa, I don't know if that works. Because we've got this long 30-year journey, all of myself and the people that work together, we've been a long time. Dan, all the people that you know, Albie, Todd, working this long together has given us a perspective I think that's invaluable, because we're not going to just recommend something that's dangerous for a salon. It's tested, it works. It's not for everybody, and we're very careful to tell salons that. But for me, being a part of that journey, and the crescendo moment is now. So I'm really enjoying it right now more than ever before, because we've taught lots of these types of classes over time, and they've modified and changed. But now it's like we've got it right, and it's been the best it's ever been. And so I'm really excited to kind of change a lot more salons. And it's hard because we only speak to R+Co salons, and the class is only for R+Co salons. But maybe at some point in the world, it'd be great to do something in a broader setting. But
well, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. Now, after these 2 years and how many excursions?
Like 11,
11 or 12. How has it changed you? Your interaction with these salon owners and managers, how has it changed the way you do business and you as a person?
On a personal level, I take it, when we first wrote the curriculum for it, it was like we were writing curriculum for people that I really like and an industry that I love. And it was like we wanted it to work, but we're giving it a shot. It really worked well. I then realized, wow, these people are coming in and going back home, and they really need it. And that changed things a little bit. It was like something I thought would be helpful. And then hearing the stories and sitting down with all these salon owners and hearing their problems and the challenges that are in the industry. And a lot of them, why we have you and Allison's, we talk about the generations. There's so many technology. There's just so many things that have changed how a great salon operates now. And so it changed me in that I take it so much more serious now. Like every one of these excursions. In the beginning, when we started, I thought I was going to maybe teach one or two, get it going, and then we'll have a whole bunch of other teachers. There's no way. The stakes are so high, and I just feel so connected to salons now that I have to be there and make sure. So I'm a part of every piece of it, as are a whole other bunch of amazing people at R+Co that are in there teaching, and I would never miss one. I mean, it's funny, there was one event, I think it was in Las Vegas, that we were teaching at, and I was so sick.
Yeah.
I've never been more sick. I don't know. Maybe I had COVID. I don't even know what it was.
I think you had COVID at the last one.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And it's like you reach in and you realize why. And when you can answer the why, that's where I think that powers everybody up. And so the why for me is always easy. We have to get these salons to win because they support us at R+Co with our brand. We support them, and it's working. And so we want to leave a real mark in our industry. That's what
And
matters.
shocking to me is, again, there've been 11 or 12 of these, and you have people repeating it, even though this is the first generation of excursion. You have some of the same people keep coming back, not just staff.
It's really funny you say that. There is someone here today.
Yeah.
There's a second timer. And I'm always like, I always go up to them like, why? What's wrong? do you have that much time on your hands? You can come to something like this? It's 4 days, 4 full days. And she was like, I'm getting more out of this the second time than I am. And I've heard that over and over again. So in the beginning, I actually didn't want people to come through twice. I didn't think that was a good thing. And we let someone do it the first time. And then afterwards, I was like, how was it? I was really curious. Like, did you get anything out of this? And they were like, oh my God, I got so much more the second time. It's such a lot of information. And it's kind of what we were just talking about before, where in York, I've heard you and Allison 11 times. Every single time I learn a little bit more about a Gen Z or a little bit more about a millennial, which I'm highly focused on. We have a lot of millennials at R+Co, so that's the category that we kind of tend to focus on. Now I'm X, which Allison says is the best.
She says that about every generation.
Does she really? I thought it was just ours.
No, it is because you're the middle child.
Oh, got it.
You're the middle child.
The latchkey kid.
Yeah, she doesn't say the baby boomers are the best generation, but we are the ones having the most fun.
That's true.
Well, you mentioned the future of luxury brand partners, not just of Excursion, but what is the future for your brand?
For luxury brand partners, I mean, luxury brand partners, all it is it's really an over company that represents brands below it. And so I put all my energy into the brands below. It's almost all the focus to me is R+Co.
Yeah. Which is your favorite?
Definitely.
Which is your favorite child?
Definitely R+Co, and only for one reason. I love the brands we have. They're like children. But it just happens to be like this child is the one I understand the most because I'm from the salon industry. Like we have a makeup brand that right now is the most successful selling SKU in all of makeup in all of the world now.
What is it?
It's called One Size. But
One Size, I met them. Oh yeah.
They came to one of these events.
They were.
And here's the thing, it's like, that's amazing. That's like the biggest accolade I think you can ever have as a product, right? Being the #1 in Sephora is huge. Thing is, I've never used makeup. I understand it, I watch it, but it doesn't speak to me and I love the people in the brand, they speak to me. I love the founder of the brand. It's a crazy story, but I can't really help them other than what I've already done, like, putting it together. And so LBP's job is to put these things together. But in R+Co, I want to be an active role. And so does like Dan, who's the president, and Todd and Allison and the whole team. I mean, we have a really large team. And we get told a lot that our team is too big. That it's almost too large because it's expensive to have such a large team. But to us, it's just investing in a long-term vision of R+Co. That's the plan. So I'm very, very emotionally attached to this brand. I've been attached to all of the brands that I've been a part of, so it's not abnormal. I was very attached to the Orbe brand as well. I still think it's a beautiful brand. I think that Bumble was a great brand in its moment. But I'm not a what do you call those people like
hoarder?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a hoarder.
Very familiar with that.
To me, we create a great brand, we run it for hopefully a decade or two, and then we get to a point, it's new inspiration and new life, and you do something new. And
that's just being realistic. And in the salon world as well, just adapting. And that is, Allison and I just did a presentation, Allison Al-Hamid and I did a presentation on having to adapt and having to merge all the different generations and all the different people and all the different brands and just evolving.
Yeah, I love that. And anyone that has not come to Excursion, that's one of the main reasons they should come. Because that class it really will change. It's not even just, it's crazy. I have a friend of mine that's here today. Nothing to do with the salon industry. And I said to him, you need to sit here because you didn't understand how to communicate better. And so how are you going to communicate better? We're talking a lot about leadership stuff. We talk a lot about the generations. We talk a lot about the 7 Ps and being positive and all that kind of stuff. And that makes a better business person, regardless if you're in a salon or not. It just happens to be, it's all geared for salons.
All right, so what are your parting words to salon owners, managers, stylists on how they can improve their business and life?
Well, definitely, every action has a reaction. So nothing's going to happen if you're sitting back at home wanting to change. If you want to have an indelible effect in your business life and in your salon, get off your butt. Come to Excursion at all costs. This will do it for you. I'm telling you, if you've ever been to education I've been a part of before, they've all been great. And this one is going to be the best we've ever done. And level 2, which we've written already, I can't wait for that to be done. And there's a special inherent gift inside of that, but can't talk about it now. but it's
Well, it's so exciting, and I'm so honored to have been part of it, and just so thrilled for your success and everything that's going on with R+Co and Luxury Brand Partners. It's pretty cool, and thank you for this time.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
a fun interview.
Yeah.
He's a tough one.
But nice topic.
Thank you.